Eggy peeps, time for another Eggy review for you. We are here in Durango, Colorado on Monday, April 15th. Uh, Driving into this place was pretty hairy, some of the scariest roads I've ever been on in my life. And I think we were at 10,900 feet when we found out that the show was canceled. And we said, oh shit, at least we don't have to go back this way, right? Very, very beautiful up there, but also a little bit nerve wracking. Can't imagine trying to drive a van up there with a trailer. Like, uh, it, had they had this show, I couldn't wait to see the guys and ask them who had the brass nads to drive that van and trailer up over these mountain passes because it was it was pretty wild. But enough about that. So it was a Sunday show. Never miss a Sunday show. Something about Colorado. I don't know. It's these guys really, really rock it out when they're out here. So getting right to it. The song list. Thanks to Mike Rothschild for putting that up there. Nearly Always Late. First set. Nearly Always Late. A Moment's Notice. Fragments. In It for the Ride. Into Evergreen. Into Here and Now. Cicada Sings, and then they closed out the first set with Portable Air Scrubber. Let's talk about that for a minute. So, like I might have already said, it was a warm night. They had the windows open in the venue, and it was just a beautiful set and setting. Nearly Always Late. Donnie had like the cyberpunk kind of sound to his keys, and it was a great. I always find it interesting when they open with that song, or that song is in the first set or early in the first set, because I think it has a story to tell, and maybe it's just about it was maybe tough getting into the venue that night or whatever. Everybody was in tone on that. It was like a good kickoff song. Everybody was dialed in and adjusted properly, and it was just a good romp. Moment's Notice was the second song. Absolutely angelic keyboard work from Donnie on that one. Got shivers. A couple people were just like, ooh, it was like wind chimes and stuff like that. It was really cool. Mike had the big tires on. He was like, monster truck style, just going at it. And Jake had like this almost violinish sound coming out of the guitar at one point, but it was synchronized. Like violin to me seems like a lilting kind of a sound, but this was like violin sounds, but they were like a Timex watch, just boom, boom, boom. It was pretty wild. You'll hear it. And there was this absolute gunshot snare that Alex ripped off a couple of times in there that was just like, if you had your eyes shut, you popped them open and you said, what the heck was that, It was a great, great second song for the first set. Fragments. When that song started, I said to myself, wow, this is a thinking man song. They kind of want us to slow down and contemplate life for a minute here. But it turned into, there's a lot of strumming and stuff in that song. And it made me think of rolling farm roads at sunrise and just being in a fast car and just rolling over those hills with like the wind in your hair and, just freedom. It was just the strumming chords or whatever they are were really liberating. Donnie built that kind of ending for Jake. Jake had a big ending in that song, and there was also a really big drum riff that I noted that was notable. um, Jake then strummed right into In It for the Ride, and that was a great transition. That's that Seekers of Joy kind of vibe, and there was no repeat ditty riffs or anything like in there. It was just like a beautiful progression again, weightless. I had parachutes in my mind, just like floating down. And there was a Norwegian wood tease in there. At least I thought I heard it. I don't know. I saw Alex and Mike kind of light up a little bit Whatever tease it was or whatever riff it was, it sounded like Norwegian Wood to me. I don't know. But Mike and Alex picked up on it and it lit them up. You could see their faces just like they didn't expect it, it seemed like. Maybe it was pre planned, I don't know. But in the moment, it looked very spontaneous. And Mike and Alex seemed to really enjoy that little moment in the song. I do have notes. Evergreen. Evergreen was the next song. It had a little bit of extra mountain electricity in that song. Kind of a weird song in a way because it talks about like cities and metro stuff, and it's named Evergreen, but I don't know. In that song, I felt like Jake and Donnie were the heart and mind of the body, and Mike and Alex were like the spirit and soul. You know, the mind and body changes all the time, but the spirit and soul are enduring. And in this song, that's what it was like. Mike and Alex were just this track, Berkeley rhythm section, unbelievable. And Donnie and Jake were able to lean on that foundation and go back to it and come out and go back to it again. And it was great. Heart, body, mind, and soul, all right there before your very eyes. Excuse me. There was like this, there are parts when they jam out, excuse my voice for a minute, that it's almost like they're all out of sync, but they're in sync at the same time, and there's just this cacophony of sound. And that's what was happening right before the big break in the song, where they say, "Come and take a chance on living," I think is the big catchphrase. And there's this half second of silence where everything just stops, and you could feel the whole room just like slam on the brakes for that half second, and then catch breath, and boom, away we went again. It was really cool. Yeah. Next song was Here and Now. Here and Now. Here and Now. Severe. I have written down Jake was severe and Here and Now. Oh, yeah. He was going somewhere. I remember this very distinctly. So when this song began, basically Jake just stood still. He put his head down. He closed his eyes. And you could see his thoughts going out and down onto the strings. It was so cool. He had this like one thought. I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing, but it seemed to me as though he knew as soon as his finger touched the first string in that song that he had this idea he wanted to complete. And to get there, he had to go down this road. He had to take us on this journey to get to that idea. And I don't know, that was my interpretation. Somebody else you talked to probably saw something completely different. But for me, it was Jake just trying to get this singular thought expressed in a, this musical package, And it was fascinating to watch. And Mike and Alex, I think, caught on to it a little earlier than Donnie did. Maybe it's something they'd heard in practice before, I'm sure. Who knows, right? They read each other's minds at this point. But it seemed like Donnie was just a few seconds behind the rest of them on figuring out where Jake was really going. And Alex and Mike shot a couple of looks at each other once they kind of walked into the rhythm and groove of what was happening with Jake's thought, and away they went. And Donnie kept the door open the whole time for Jake to go places. And that Leslie was just, it was fun to watch the spinning speaker behind Donnie slow down and speed up and stuff. That was neat during the song. I was checking my watch at that point, or my clock on my phone, because it seemed like they'd been playing for quite a while. And, they stopped after that song. And then Alex clicked off, click, click, click. Cicada Sings, which is a great song for like springtime and mountains and all that. So that was a very appropriate song selection for where we were. And again, the strumming in there. Jake was B.B. King. He was B.B. King, just like, it was beautiful to see. Again, I keep using that word. But it really was. There were CSN style harmonies in that song. Their voices were combining very well. There were 3 and 4 parts in that song. And there were just some absolute $1 million drops from Mike and Alex in that song. And you'll hear it when it hits Nugs. Uh, for a kind of mellow song, it really had a lot going on. And that led us to Portable Air Scrubber, which was a whole page of notes in and of itself. So Portable Air Scrubber, for me, has a special place because one of the early times my wife and I were chasing Eggy around the East Coast, and we were at this brewery in Maryland, I think it was, or Delaware, and it was a pretty small crowd. The band was available before the show, and Donnie asked me and my wife, if we had any requests, which was something to be honored by. And again, you may have heard me say this before, I really have a rule against asking artists to play anything in particular. That's up to them. But I did tell them what we hadn't seen, live before. And I said we hadn't seen a Portable Air Scrubber. And that night they ripped out an encore. I think it was an encore. It might have been the closing of the second set. But either way, it was a Portable Air Scrubber to end all Portable Air Scrubbers. And it's such a fun song. It's a great song to sing along to with the lyrics that are just a little bit silly, but still have a thought behind them. So Portable Air Scrubber was, I already mentioned BB King, and I don't, when I compare these guys to other musicians, I'm not saying like they're trying to mimic them or anything. I'm saying that their talent is as iconic and as is going to have the test of time like these other artists that I name. So that's what I mean when I compare these guys. If I say BB King walked on stage, I don't mean that Jake was trying to be like BB King. I mean that there was an artist before me that is going to be as legendary as those names. And so with that out of the way, Portable Air Scrubber was Keith Richards playing YYZ. It was absolutely insane to see. I have, it was like this roller coaster trance. I had thoughts of like, there was parts of it was like I could picture like a centipede, just all 100 legs. And then all of a sudden Jake would do something and it was like an antenna coming up off the centipede's head. And just this really, really cool visual coming out of that song with the synchronized rhythms that were happening. Jake did the freaking Red Bull stunt plane part where he was just like, Mike was just fast marching things right to the end. And the crowd, there was this moment during Portable Air Scrubber where the song was kind of peaking and security, I think, could kind of sense it. And I mean, you'll see some of the videos I put up later maybe, and the crowd was really hopping up and down. There was a lot of physical energy in the crowd last night, and there was probably a 4-foot break between the stage and the cordoned off area, and security just moved the cords right up to the stage so we could just be, this far from the musicians. It was really cool at that point, and that really helped push the song as the musicians saw that wave of people coming at them and all happy about it, and it really took the song to a cool place. Because this is already almost 15 minutes, I'm going to end it at the first set and do a second video for the second set review. But I got to tell you, this little run out here, these 7 shows run, well, now with Durango being canceled, it won't be that many, but something about this West Coast area, west of Mississippi, I don't know, the challenges of the drives, the mountain views, all those things combined, the thin air, I don't know. But if you've seen the streams, you've seen some great jams. You'll hear it all on Nugs eventually. Before I ramble on, they're always great. They're only getting better. Never miss a Sunday show. I love all you people, and my wife and I will see you at the next one. With that, peace out.